Hello everybody, I'm Al Minner, Leesburg City Manager, bringing you a special edition of the Inside Leesburg City Manager Update. Unfortunately, we have a Hurricane Dorian, brewing off in the Atlantic. So I thought it'd be important to get information out to the public about how you can stay updated during the storm event. But I also wanted to get some information out, and I have some special guests here to tell the public about what we do at the city during these events. We've got a great staff here, lots of experience. Everybody has been through the storm experience several times. So it's standard operating procedures for us, so we don't get too frantic and we don't get too lackadaisical either. So wanted to put some faces with some names and get some information out to the public about what we're doing here at your local government to prepare for an event. The first thing is we coordinate with the county. And the county is important because they do a lot of the sheltering and those type of things. So please keep in mind that right now the county, Lake County, has the Citizen Information Line available. That number is 352-253-9999. The county also has their emergency management information number available. That number is 352-343-9420. It's important to get in touch with the county if you need a shelter, if you need transportation to a shelter, or if you need to find out about special assistance for dialysis or heart type of things, or respirators, or also if you have that pet. The county is really our go-to folks for making sure that people have those type of shelters. So keep those numbers in mind and pay attention to those numbers as well as the county website. So now I want to move here to our local government and kind of our electric and utility regions on what we do to prepare for a storm. So the first person I wanted to introduce to you is David Johnson. David is our fire chief for 355 days out of the year, but unfortunately, when the storms come up, David also serves as our emergency operations coordinator. We have several different functions that we take care of that run the gamut from keeping in touch with the state, filing paperwork with the federal government for financial return for expenditures that come up for emergency times, to keeping our departments coordinated, getting information to me to get out to you. So there's a lot of coordination, and David takes care of that. Does a great job doing it. We set up shop at the EOC, Emergency Operations Center, which we do at the second floor in the police station. The best thing that we can advise folks is, number one, pay attention and monitor our Facebook page. What we do on Facebook is we get out information, phone numbers, updates on what happens with the storm. We also do the same on our webpage. Our webpage is leesburgflorida.gov. And remember, that's all spelled out, leesburgflorida.gov. In addition to that, we advise keep your hurricane kits up to date. So there's several days before the storm comes, so get fresh batteries, get water, get canned goods, Band-Aids, and those type of things, flashlights, and just have everything ready for the storm. Monitor the website, monitor the TVs, and you will get lots of information just doing that. David, what else would you advise?
We have our citizen information line that'll come up later on in your, and you'll give out that phone number. But just stay safe and make sure that you have enough equipment and food for probably somewhere between 24 and 48 hours.
Awesome. Thank you. Unfortunately, hurricanes always come in the hottest time of the year, and we rely so much on our electric. So I wanted to bring in our electric director, who's Brad Chase. Brad, thanks for joining us today. So we're going to kick Brad out here in a second so he can go back. But we wanted to give you some information about what we're doing on the electric side. If you go to our Facebook page right now, we've got a great post about how we organize our electric restoration, which is Brad's biggest job. So the first thing that we do is, we got to make sure generation still works. So We partner with several folks, whether it's our investor-owned friends, our co-op friends, or our local company, the Florida Municipal Power Agency, where we buy our resources from. They're in charge of generation, so we coordinate with them. They give us updates to whether we have issues at the generation plants. If there's issues at the generation plant that are storm related, we're not getting power. So we coordinate that. Brad checks with those folks to make sure everything's good. The next step in that process is the transmission. Transmission is like the highway of the electric system. If transmission line goes down, we can't get energy to our distribution system. So Brad coordinates with FMPA and our other industry partners to make sure the transportation grid is where it needs to be. Now, once the energy gets through that, then Brad's biggest part is making sure our distribution grid is up to snuff. And we prioritize how we want to generate or get power out to our distribution folks, our local customers, which is about 25,000. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure our institutional customers have power. Institutional customers are the hospital. So we want to make sure LRMC off of Dixie has energy very first. Next, we want to make sure the police station, the fire stations, City Hall has power. And once that's up, then we move to our commercial folks. We want to make sure the business district, 441, 27, Dixie, Main Street, we want to make sure those areas on our grid have power. Then we finally get to the residential sections. And what we do on the residential sections is we prioritize the least amount of work to get the most amount of customers back on. So if there's a couple of small problems and we can fix that in 20 or 30 minutes and we can literally get 500 or 1,000 customers back on, that's where we're going to focus our efforts, and then we go down from there. So unfortunately, if you're a customer and you're out on the end of the system and you've got a big tree that fell on your house and took your weather meter out and all that stuff, and we've got a lot of work to do to get one customer back up, unfortunately, that customer is staged last. So minimum work, maximum return on customers back up. And our goal is really to get everybody back up in 72 hours. But there's a couple of points too that I want to point out, and there's safety issues. Number one, if you see down wires, stay away from them. Number two, if you have a generator, don't run it in your garage. Keep it well ventilated. And don't hook it into your meter base. When you hook it into your meter base, that will actually push electric back out onto the grid, making it unsafe for our electric crews to get your power restored. So that's important. Also look at your weatherhead and your meter base. So if you go to the side of your house where you see your electric meter, to get power back to you after a storm, that has to be in good working order. Now we've got 25,000 customers, and generally this only happens to a few customers, but it always happens during a storm because a tree branch will come down and snag your service line, or if a tree falls on your roof, it can sometimes damage your meter bed and your weatherhead. So those two pieces of equipment need to be in working order for the electric crew to get your hook back up. So if you see that after the storm and you go out, again, don't touch anything, but call a local licensed electric contractor to come out and fix your meter base and your weatherhead. And if that's done, you're ahead of the game, and when the electric crew gets out there, they'll be able to hook you up so you don't get that bad news of, I can't hook you up because your meter base is not working. What did we miss there, Brad?
The only thing, we've reached out to our mutual aid partners in anticipation should we need help after the storm. So that's part of our emergency operations plan.
Awesome. I think one of the best things we do in providing electricity to the community is municipals have a great network of public power partners. And I think where we shine, and hopefully we will again, is getting your power restored because we're local. So we're going to be working hard to get that done. And in the meantime, if you have an outage, use this number. It's 833-223-1313. If you use that number to call an outage, remember to have your account number handy or a phone number associated with your account so the customer service agents can quickly locate you and get you in the system. So moving on now from the electric side of the house, we're moving over here. This is Mr. DC Modlin. DC is our Public Works Director. We also call him the Iceman around here because he does everything. The electric guys generally get kind of a lot of the glory because when the power goes off, everybody's sweating, we're hot, we're grumpy, and we want the power back up. So when you see Brad's truck pull around the corner, it's like, yay! But another guy who's doing a lot of stuff for us is DC. DC's got about 5 jobs during storms. The first one is trash collection. Unfortunately, it seems like the past few years, these storms are coming on Labor Day. Again, we're getting that situation. So we've pushed our solid waste collection back from Labor Day to Tuesday. So if the storm is that severe and we push it back another day, we're going to have to miss that cycle. So just keep in touch with us. For Public Works information, let me give you this number. It's 352-435-9442. Stay in touch again with our Facebook page and our website, and we'll get you out that information. More than a garbage collection, though, the thing that's really important that's not seen is everybody goes to the spigot and they expect water. Everybody goes to the bathroom and, you know, nobody thinks about it after you flush, but DC does. And so in a storm, those are important things because trees fall, they uproot water lines, the power goes out, lift stations fail. So DC and his guys spend a tremendous amount of time going through monitoring our lift stations, getting energy through generators. We've got a few generators. We've got 84 lift stations or something like that in town. And we shift about 10 generators to the different stations. We'll go from one to another to another. And the guys and ladies who work in our wastewater department will probably spend better part of the day and the evenings monitoring and doing the generator rodeo, making sure that that's up. On the water side, when a tree uproots mains, they're out shutting them down. Sometimes it's just a little service line, or sometimes it can be a big 12-inch main. And so, kind of like on the electric side, it's the big stuff first and the little stuff last. So if you've got a little service line that broke because a tree came down, and you call our line, you're going to get ranked in kind of that same priority. If there's a big line down and it needs lots of guys to fix, we're going to be fixing that, and then we'll get to your service lines. The biggest thing I think that DC works with in hurricane time is the debris collection. That's a big thing. It's the biggest cost for us. It's the biggest FEMA report that we get reimbursement for from the federal government. And so our biggest advice to you on debris removal is if you have trees and branches and limbs and leaves that fall, bring that stuff out to the curb. Get it in the right-of-way. If it's in the right-of-way, we'll get it picked up. The first thing we do there is if we have trees that fall in the right-of-way, DC's crews are going to push that stuff out to the side. You guys, the residents, bring that stuff, put it in the right-of-way. But our big tip on that is just debris. Unfortunately, folks will experience a roof. Your roofs might get collapsed or a fence might fall down. Don't bring that construction debris and mix it with the vegetative debris. The big reason for that is we have to follow rules and regulations on how we dispose of vegetation. Generally, what we do on the vegetation is we eventually burn it, and we use air curtains, and we follow regs on how to do that. But we can't do that on construction debris. That's got to be separated. So if you've got a fence that goes down, unfortunately, if your house has issues and you've got construction debris, you can bring that out to the curb, but keep it in a separate pile. Our initial push is going to be get as much of the stuff as we can, but we need it clean debris. Sofas and couches and those and all that construction debris, again, keep that stuff separated. And if you need information on the Public Works, again, that number is 352-435-9442. DC, I think we covered it.
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
One thing I would add, if you do lose water, you have zero water pressure and then it's restored, the best thing to do is to go ahead and boil the water, your drinking water, until we notify you that it's been tested and is safe. So we put out boil water notices as soon as they're required, but just in case, if you go to zero pressure, boil water until we tell you otherwise.
Awesome, good point. And again, those boil water notices, they'll be on the Facebook page, they'll be on the website. And going back to the electric department, as we get into the storm in that initial recovery mode, we'll set up a priority list and we'll try to get out an estimated time of when we'll get to your circuit, and we'll keep a customer count of how many customers are out, and we'll post that on the Facebook page and try to get you an idea of when we'll get there. The last person I want to do is Sandy Moore. Sandy, thank you for joining us today. Sandy is another awesome resource. Sandy is the executive director of the Leesburg Area Chamber of Commerce. So we've stressed throughout this program, watch our Facebook page, watch our city website, but also watch Sandy Moore.
That's
because Sandy is a great voice to the business community. She's a great liaison for us because she checks in with us to get information, and she gets it out to the community. So Sandy, what's your tip for the business community?
Well, the big thing is that and during this time, if you're looking for reputable businesses, prior to and after the storm, we have a list that are categorized on our website and also on our Facebook page.
Awesome.
So,
Sandy,
Leesburg Area Chamber of Commerce.com.
You guys do a great job. Proud of the businesses, and we'll just hope everybody knows that the team here will be working to get everybody restored and back up to date. So we're going to wrap it up now because I got to get these guys and ladies back to work. We got storm preparedness to do. So on behalf of the Leesburg City Commission, the staff and volunteers at the city, get out and enjoy our beautiful lakefront city, but also remember to be safe.